One of life's greatest tragedies and ironies is the amount of time that we put into the work that we do, hoping that it gives us a better life. And then we watch that work become our entire lives. During the pandemic, I was spending 60, 70 hours a week just growing our business. I made this excuse in my mind that, you know what, I'm work from home, we have a remote business, perfect opportunity for me to put everything that I can into growing this marketing agency that we were building. I start to see now, and I started to see like even before, how much of the more important things I had missed out on. Being there for my kids during a very confusing and very scary time. Being there for my wife, who was also going through postpartum depression during the middle of the lockdowns. And I knew that something had to change. I couldn't have this mindset where hustle is the only way for me to succeed. And that's something that I discovered that really made a big change for me was Parkinson's law. And man, did it really change the way that I thought, the way that I worked, and the way that I live. One thing that we need to get straight here, many of us have really resigned to this thinking that working hard and working long hours is something to be glorified. We have friends in first world cities near the Philippines, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, and they tell us all the time that in work corporate culture, it's pretty normal for you to work overtime. In fact, even if you're finished with work, a lot of the times, these offices in these high-performing places, the bosses and the employers ask you to stay till like 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, even if you're already done with work. Why? Because it's pretty much the norm, and it's pretty much accepted that if you work longer hours, that you're a better professional. But isn't it so interesting how it's actually the other way around? That the faster that you can work, the more of an expert you appear. Like think about track racing, for example. The best track racers are the people who have the shortest time travel. You think about in public speaking, where you have public speakers who can talk for 2 to 3 hours but not get a point done. But then you have these amazing speakers who just need 5, 10 minutes. We see that experts aren't the people who spend hours on something just to accomplish a task, but they're people who can get it done in a shorter amount of time and really get the work done. And that's what Parkinson's law really is. Parkinson's law tells us that work expands to fill the time available. In the same way, work contracts to fill the time available. Let's say, for instance, you want to create a YouTube video, which is what I'm doing right now. If you tell yourself that I've got all day, I've got 8 to 10 hours to film a YouTube video, it's going to take you 8 to 10 hours to finish a YouTube video. But if you tell yourself that I need to finish this YouTube video in the next 1 to 2 hours, there's a high chance that you're going to finish that YouTube video in 1 to 2 hours. I guess if you call it really, it's a law, right? Parkinson's law. That's the law of nature, that if you put like a shorter time goal, that you're going to finish the work. Sometimes we think to ourselves that, well, you know what? You're just going to rush through the project and you're not going to get the best quality work. In my own experience, that's not always true. In fact, many times when I spend too much time on something, I actually come up with less quality work because you tend to procrastinate, you tend to take your sweet time, and then you get distracted, and then you lose focus. And sometimes when there's no time pressure, then we just don't get the work done. How this has really changed for me personally is the way that I compute my hourly rate. We really charge per output. But for me personally, what really helps me to see just how efficient I am time-wise is I compute my hourly rate. For the longest time, I was stuck at $10 an hour. And during those pandemic days, my thinking was if I wanted to make $100 in one single day, then I needed to work 10 hours. Never did it occur to me, for some weird reason, that if I wanted to get more money but still not overwork myself, I could actually increase my hourly rate by doing 3 things. Number 1, getting better at what I do so that the quality of the work really shines and people pay more per output. Secondly is I can try to find a way to do it faster, and you no longer have an excuse because, well, in 2020 we didn't have AI, or it wasn't as mainstream yet, but now we have ChatGPT that can help us to get work faster. And lastly is you get smarter by building systems in your life, by using automation, by using tools that can shorten the amount of hours that you put into your work, but then you also increase your output. And so today, as an outcome, I no longer work 60, 70 hours a week. Most of the time, my weekly schedule will probably consist of 25 to 35 hours maximum. So essentially cutting my work hours in half. But the funny thing there is, from the income that I was earning during the pandemic, my wife and I have built a business where we now earn as much as 7 times the amount that we were earning during that time. How do you shorten the work hours but then increase your income? And it really goes back to Parkinson's law. So I highly encourage you, dive down deep into this. Try it out yourself. Parkinson's law, it's not rocket science. You contract the amount of time that you work, and then you commit to finish the work in a certain amount of time. You chase after that goal, and you'll be surprised just how quickly you can get work done. Freedom doesn't come by hustling and grinding all day. I get that sometimes that might be your case in certain seasons, especially when you're starting off, but that can't be the story of our lives until we're 50, 60 years old. Definitely not when you have kids and when you have a family. You need to find a way to get more work done in lesser time. And Parkinson's law is the key to make that happen. It really goes back to this important truth, right? Which is intentionality. We need to design our lives in an intentional way. We need to ask ourselves, what do we want our days to look like? Do we want to work 10, 12 hours a day? Is this acceptable to us? Or do we want to have more time freedom so we can put that time into things that matter to us? Relationships, hobbies, health, spirituality. There are so many things outside of work that matter. And that's the reason why we work in the first place. So that we can build a life that is holistic. But we can't make our lives all about work. And that's the life that I hope for. And I hope that that's the life that you hope for as well. I hope this was helpful. If it was, then share it to someone that you think needs to hear this. And if you love Parkinson's law and you have other insights as well around the topic, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. This is something that I believe that people should hear about more and more. Let's start building a life that does not revolve around our work, but let's actually build a career, a profession, a business that serves our life. See you next time.